Hello everyone, today I'm going to be reading Not Your Mother's Rules book. It's written by Alan Fine and Sherry Schneider. It's one of their books that they have written over the course of 30 something years. And I really like it, especially the rule number 19, which I'm going to be reading out now. So the way I do this, usually I read out a few lines and I comment on it. Sometimes I read a little bit more, sometimes I read a little bit less. Bear with me because English is not my first language, it's my third language. And let me know if you like this type of content or don't, whatever. It is a very controversial book. I get a lot of hate on this from men as well as from women. And so let me know. Rule number 19. Don't pay for dinner or buy his love in any way. Oh, that's a biggie. It's a big one. I swear, I'm already excited to talk about this with you guys. I have stories from my own experience and I have stories from my girlfriend's experience. So I have a ton to talk about it. All right, let's start. Women who do too much or give too much in relationships are the subject of entire self-help books. We will save you the trouble of reading them by telling you that if you have to do more than agree to go on dates for a guy to like you, then you're doing too much. Couldn't agree more. It's really the case. So that's just an intro. Let's continue. It is desperate and not the rules to meet him halfway for a date, pay for dinner, take him on vacation, or buy his love in any way. Let that sink. Okay. Buying him gifts or splitting the cost of trips are both nice ways women try to ingratiate, I don't know this word, themselves with men, but it just won't make the guy love them! Exclamation mark. True. Women who overdo are spoiling guys, but we know that guys really desire women who don't try hard at all. True as well. Worse, though, it's manipulative. You're trying to make it easy for him to be with you. A rules girl doesn't have to give a guy a reason to be with her by roping him in with her frequent flyer miles or credit card. She is the reason. Okay? Let's continue. When you give too much in the beginning of a relationship, a guy will sense it and lose interest. Who has had this experience? I've had it many times. Okay, it is another way in which you become the pursuer and it becomes obvious that you like him. In addition, guys have pride and don't want to be supported, even if they initially go along with a woman's generosity. Brenda, a 35-year-old CEO, was dating her yoga instructor. Okay, continue. She let him stay in her city apartment on nights that he worked late, hoping that would lead to exclusivity. After some time passed, she suggested he move in so he wouldn't have to commute to the suburbs, and really so that they could be together more often. Oh, the plotting, of course. A few weeks after they started living together, Brenda found text messages to other women on his phone. When she confronted him, he claimed, "I never said we were exclusive. It was your idea that I live here, not mine." By the way, he was right. He's totally right. He wasn't even grateful for his rent-free accommodations. Brenda called us hysterically crying because she had thought he could be the one. Oh, Brenda. We told her to have him pack his bags right away. More importantly, we told her not to try to lure or trap a guy with her money, possessions, or perks, especially not to keep a relationship going. It never works. Oh, yes, absolutely. I agree with that. So she is the reason. She has to be the reason why a guy wants to be with a particular woman, not because she can give him something. It's no secret that some women today are out earning the men they're dating. Some of these women think nothing of using their money and influence to keep a guy interested. We have clients in high-powered positions or ones in family businesses who try to get guys they just met jobs at their company or their father's firm. Not a good idea. If you get him an interview or a job, you will never know if he's dating you because of your connections or because he really likes you. Yeah, how would you know? The only way to know is to give him nothing. Ladies, listen to this. You give him nothing. I've done this mistake. Not too many times, seriously, because I've had nothing to give a guy, like in terms of like power or money, but I have tried to set him up with connections, with clients. We worked in a similar business, so I tried to set him up with like clients, and I've done that. If a guy you're dating says he doesn't have the money to take you out for nice dinners, say, that's okay. He can take you somewhere inexpensive or come up with another creative idea. Do not respond by offering to pay. If he asks to borrow money so he can do nice things for you, just tell him you don't have it. Oh my God. I've heard stuff like this, really. Like if you have a boyfriend and he's like, well, I would love to make you or give you a really nice present, but I don't have the money. So would you borrow me money to make you this present? How does that work? What is that? I think it's a major red flag. Yeah, like guys borrowing money for car services and say, well, so that he can drive you around and stuff like that. So yeah, when a guy asks you for money, say you don't have it, because first of all, it's a red flag when a guy asks you for money. Then he has no other options, no business partners, no bank will give him money, no parents, no friends. That's a red flag guy walking around trying to take money from you. That's okay. So there comes the story. Randy, a 29-year-old optometrist was dating a struggling novelist named Michael. She paid for the dinners and also lent him money to pay his rent. Oh, Jesus Christ. Michael broke up with her after a year of dating when he coincidentally landed a 6-figure book deal, claiming he was not ready for a serious relationship. What? She was out almost $5,000. Randy wanted to email him about getting her money back, but we told her to forget it and move on. Okay, first of all, why would you want to ask the money? Because, I mean, he lent the money? Anyway, that's what's written. She could sell the necklace he gave her. That's not gonna make up the $5,000. I don't think so. We even heard of women who lent money to guys and sued them for it after the relationship ended. It can be messy and unpleasant, to say the least. Just don't do it. Dating a guy who is clearly struggling. Okay. Why would you want to do this, first of all? But yeah, sometimes love and all of that, it's okay. But because when a guy is really in love, he's like attracted to you. A guy is trying to impress you and certainly not ask you for money. So that's like the opposite of trying to impress you. There's no way a guy will ask you for money if he's actually interested in like dating you. So he was using her. Oh, there's actually one story that that's my own personal experience. I've had definitely situations where I paid for dinner. I think I've done this once. I paid for my own bill and he paid for his own bill. And I remember I insisted on paying my own bill to the guy who invited me out for dinner. And after, like, I really insisted. I was like, no, I'm paying for my own stuff. I'm paying. I don't know. I was like 19 at the time, I think. And the guy, after the dinner, he said he really did not like that. He asked me out, he invited me, and I stupidly thought that I will impress him by showing him how independent I was, or whatever I thought at the time. Stupid. And also one time I paid for the entire dinner after the guy. So I never asked guys out. I really never did. Not even like reading the book, not reading the book. I've never done this. So the guys would ask me out, and I remember I really liked him. So I wanted so much to impress him that I offered to pay for the entire bill. Oh gosh. I really did that. So I paid for the entire dinner, and it was expensive dinner. It was really nice. I mean, he picked the restaurant, he picked the day, he picked me up. Like he's done all of that, and then I do this like stupid thing and I say, no, I'll get it. And some men will say, oh my God, that's the right thing to do. A girl should be just like, I want to show him my interest. Like I'm interested. This is how I show the guy. That's some bullshit. By the way, guys don't need that. If I agreed on a date with a guy, that's enough to show that I'm kind of interested. Maybe a little bit. It doesn't matter at this point, when it's like a few dates, it doesn't even matter whether I'm really interested or just a little bit. For the guy who is interested in you, that's all matters, that you just spend some time with him. And if he asks you for dinner date or entertainment, whatever you do after that, I mean, that's all matters to the guy. If the guy is like really like looking at the bill, okay, so the chicken and the salads, it's on you, and then I pay for the wine. Okay, you know what? I splurge a little bit on the wine, then I'm sorry. That's not the guy who's trying to impress you anyways. Okay, let's continue reading. Maybe he has been spoiled by other women who split everything, but that's not your problem. Or he might say that his ex-girlfriend was a gold digger. And he doesn't want to be used again, and that's why he's so cautious about money. To that, just respond with your apologies, but still avoid paying for anything of great value. Guys are ingenious when they're looking for a free ride. Don't fall for it. You don't have to break up with him if everything else is good, but you need to silently show him that you're not going to be his sugar mama. It's not about the money, it's about the fact that the guy has to pursue or he won't appreciate you. If you start paying, you might feel the tables turning in the relationship. Absolutely. Women have many ways of being generous. They buy him a watch or an iPad. They walk through his apartment and decide he needs a bigger TV. They turn into his free interior decorator and have their imprints all over his place so he remembers their wine glasses or napkin holders, or they rummage through his closet and decide he needs a new suit or a good leather jacket. They buy him an expensive tie or monogrammed cufflinks for his annual review with his boss. If they have an upcoming business trip or extra frequent flyer miles, they pay for him to tag along. Yeah, they do that. Now it comes. If they work in an industry with lots of perks, they invite him to cocktail parties or fancy dinners and send a car service to pick him up. Of course, he loves all her presents and perks, but that doesn't mean he loves her. Oh my God, that's me. 100%. That's me. I've done that. I've done that. Okay, let me start first with the story of my girlfriend. So a girlfriend of mine, she has this incredible good taste, and she's a natural in this. So she was dating a guy who just bought an apartment somewhere in New York City. I don't know what he was doing, but anyway, he bought an apartment and they were dating already, like, I don't know, half a year or something. So she, being so, trying to show her talents and how good she could be as a wife. I don't know. She started decorating his entire place, and she's amazing at it. She has some talent, and so she spent a lot of time of her time, looking for furniture and decoration stuff and how to, place things. And I mean, it takes a while to decorate nicely an apartment or house. And so I remember we were talking about it. And at this point, I was really, I'm not sure if this is a great idea to spend so much time, so much valuable time of yours to decorate a guy's apartment. But I didn't tell her this. I was just like, not sure about this one. And I remember she told me, so they would like go out to restaurants on a regular basis, and he would take her out to all the nice places. Like he was splurging on restaurants for her. And then she said something to me that he told her, well, honey, his words, honey, it's cheaper to buy you a dinner than to spend the money on a real interior decorator, designer. And she thought it's hilarious. She thought, oh, I'm just so valuable like that. And so he splurges. But no, she was cheap work for him, because he had the money to buy, to pay an interior designer, but she was cheaper. So why wouldn't he? Like, she's great as well. She was hoping, of course, that they would live together, and she was already eyeing one of the rooms for a child. And she's done all of that. So she told me all of that, of course, right? So eventually they broke up. All that work was for nothing. So the chapter is also talking about how you should not be helping a guy with his career, whatever. But that's my thing. I've done that. I was pushing my ex-boyfriend to do his own business, because at the point of his career at the company what he was working for, he was already one of the highest positions, and higher than that would be a CEO, like the owner of the company. And I told him, well, you're not going to develop in this company. Why don't you do your own business and maybe have a partner to work with or whatever? And I was so aggressive on suggesting it to him, because I wanted his success. I was like, honey, you can do this. You can. And he actually ended up doing this. So he left this company that he was working for before and opened his own business. And I hope he's doing great. But I mean, it never worked out with him anyway. So I was too bossy in the sense of like try to play wifey and trying to make his career choices for him, or trying to manipulate it. It was very manipulative. I was hoping I would do good to him, but as a woman, you should not be doing stuff like that. It's not really helpful for your relationship. For him, maybe, but not for the relationship at all. If you have been dating exclusively for a long time, you can pay for little things here and there. For example, if your boyfriend is taking you to dinner and a show, you can buy him drinks or take him somewhere nice for dessert. If he is sick, you can bring him chicken soup in bed and bring him a variety of cold medicines. For regular Saturday night dinner dates, he should be picking up the tab. So, yeah. So these few lines tell you that if you are dating for a little bit already, it's not like a first date or second or third, not even fifth, but let's say you've had like a bunch of dates and it's been a couple months and you got to know each other a little bit more. You can you can invite him to some little things, or you can pay for a little thing here and there. However, if you ask the authors directly whether they would do it like this, they will tell you no. They will say it's better if you don't pay for anything for the entirety of the courtship. They will tell you don't pay for anything, not even little bit small things. Why would he care? If the guy is really into you, he wants to date you, he doesn't care if you buy this coffee for him. He doesn't care. Like if he's dating like he already calculated you in his finances, whatever he's willing or able to pay for you. So also there are a lot of costs for a woman as well to go on a date. Like she's doing her nails, her hair, she's buying new clothes, new shoes, new perfume, new makeup, whatever. I mean, there's this constant spending when you're dating a new guy. Because you, as a woman, you also try to impress the guy as well. So you're trying to look good, trying to look, pleasant, and yeah. So it's expensive for a girl to start dating a new guy. Really, I've known a girl. While I worked with her, she said, so she told me that she was dating this new guy, and then she would tell me how much money she had to spend every single date because she was buying an entire new outfit for each date. Imagine that. So yeah, it goes to that. Okay, if a guy insists that you go away with him but expects you to split the cost of the trip, say, thanks, but I don't think I can take the time off, and skip it. Buyer beware, he might not be in love with you and may just be looking for a travel companion to have fun with. Oh my god, it's so true. There are so many dudes out there who would ask me, hey, you want to join on this trip or whatever? You want to come with me for a week? I don't know, somewhere. And sometimes some of these guys were even married. And I was like, dude, what's wrong with you? First of all, you're married. That's a no already in the beginning. Second of all, we're not even dating and you're asking me to go on a trip with you? What if you have been dating for a while and he invites you to go away and is really excited about it? Sometimes dating and traveling require firm negotiation. Once he agrees to a time frame that is good for you, no longer than 4 days, let him plan the trip, make all the arrangements, and put it on his credit card. If he asks you to pay for something, or you feel it's right to contribute, pick one thing like your airfare and pay for that only. For example, if he asks you to go on a 4-day cruise, you can pay for the off-boat excursions. Never put the whole trip, airfare, hotel, restaurants on your credit card with the idea that he will reimburse you, as sometimes it will be awkward or impossible to get your money back. Sometimes the guy will have sudden business problems or bills right after the trip, and you will feel heartless asking for your money, especially if you make more than he does or he has student loans and you don't. Money aside, the other reason not to go away for a week or two is that familiarity breeds contempt. Save that trip for your honeymoon. Yeah, agree with that as well. Taking trips with guys. Okay, if you're dating a guy and he's like, oh my god, it really happens a lot. It happened to me too. I mean, come on. And he asks you, okay, so many couples, they take vacations, but that doesn't mean that they bond together, really. Usually what happens is that the guy's like, oh, it's too much spending time with this particular girl and there's no mystery. You can see all her underwear laying around. You wake up every day. It's really too much too soon. But I mean, for some people it works. When I took trips with my boyfriend, I mean, we were fighting like cats and dogs. I would not go away anymore with a guy for more than a weekend. Max 3 days, maximum. If he's nothing at the point, if he's at a level of a boyfriend, that's a maximum of my time I will give him if we're dating for a while. I don't know, a couple months maybe. Money and material items are not the only ways women try to woo a guy and worm their way into his life. They email him poetry, make collages of the places they've been to, and become groupies at his sporting events. Oh, that's so true. Oh my god, I've done that. So I've printed pictures of us together and had them on the fridge, like all beautifully, or framed some of them. Oh, it's all the same. It's all the same. Also, the sporting events. I was working with a girl who was dating a very famous golf player. Not this one that you think about, no, but some of them are very famous. So she was dating one of the famous golf players, and she went to every tournament with him. She was this, girlfriend is there, and all the cameras on her because she's beautiful and he's famous and rich and whatever. So they've been dating for 2 years, and no proposal, nothing. Maybe they'll live together at some point, I don't know. Anyway, long story short, she wasted 2 years of her life. Maybe to a famous guys, but she was this perfect supporting girlfriend. And like, do you remember those, World Cup, soccer, whatever? The line of like girlfriends sitting in the background amongst like the public, and the players are on the field and doing their thing, and 90% of those girlfriends are not girlfriends anymore. Maybe some of them were wives or whatever, but yeah, that's what usually happens. They tried to patch up the fight he had with his father. They played therapist when he when he has a bad day, or when he wants to talk about his ex-girlfriend. Do you recognize yourself here? Not really, but yeah, maybe I had a date with a guy who was like, oh, my ex-girlfriend, yada, 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 yada. And I was ready, like, you are totally into her. Why are you with me sitting here? Like, what's the deal? I mean, I don't think I even went on a second date with this guy. But yeah, I've had this. If you are a generous person, then help your friends or find a charity and do volunteer work. But don't use your positive quality as an excuse to do or buy things for a guy you are dating, because you will be putting yourself in a position to be used and hurt. Whether you're giving him money for a car, tune-up, cleaning his apartment, or get him an interview at your law firm, it's too much. You should not have to work that hard to get a guy's interest. Absolutely. A rules girl doesn't have to buy a guy's love or attention. If you are doing more than just going on dates and being creature unlike any other, then you are doing too much. Oh, I remembered one more thing. She's not really my friend, but I've heard a story of a girl who bought a very expensive motorcycle for her boyfriend, which is like, oh my god, every guy would be like, oh my god, this is amazing. She bought me a motorcycle. It's a woman of my dreams. But no, of course he took the gift. I mean, who wouldn't, right? And they broke up. I don't know how long after they broke up, but they broke up. So, I mean, I agree with this entire rule. If you're trying to buy a guy's love, I mean, you will buy a little bit of his time, but not really love. Okay, so what do you guys think? Do you like this type of reading, or do you want to include more of the rules girls that I know to read and discuss it? I tried to make a group session, but it's kind of difficult because all the rules girls are spread out throughout the world and different time zones. Anyway, comment down below if you agree or disagree and why. And if you don't like it, then don't listen, right? Click away.